met a gal at a cabaret. She said, "Pretty Papa, are you going my way?"
Howdy, folks. I'm Dan Gross, and welcome to this brand new episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight, Rochester's premier music and interview show. We're here in Bop Shop Records, our home for Season 4, also Seasons 3 and 2. So we've been here for about a year now, so we're very happy to be here and to be back. Joining us today is blues legend, Gordon Munding. Give him a round of applause, guys.
In my own mind.
Let's hear from our sponsors before we get going.
This episode is brought to you by Bernunzio Uptown Music, Bop Shop Records, and Rowe Photo. Bernunzio Uptown Music, located in Rochester's East End, has been providing Rochester and the world with quality vintage, new, and used string instruments since 1976. Bernunzio also offers concerts, workshops, and jam sessions. This season we're in this warm, local, and creative space, Bop Shop Records. Located right outside the city at 1460 Monroe Avenue, Bop Shop Records is your Rochester home for blues, classic rock, jazz, and Americana roots music in vinyl for the past 35 years. Rowe Photo is your one-stop shop for photo, home theater installation, audio, and accessory needs. For 3 generations since 1898, Rowe Photo is there for you with second-to-none customer service. Stop by Rowe Photo's 2 convenient locations today.
Gordon, thanks for being here, man.
It's my honor.
So this is cool. This is our first solo act of this season, and I couldn't have thought of a better guy to take the slot.
Hey, that's my quest. Bring back solo music. The low budget thing.
Right, what can we call that? It's not garage music, because that's already a separate genre. So we need to.
Yeah,
I like budget music.
Yeah, well,
That's
since
good.
they slashed the budget, I mean, don't want to get political right away, of course, but that's what happened.
That's right. That's just a fact. That's just what happened.
We lost the singing backup gals and the drums. We'll
know.
get them back, though, perhaps.
That's right. It's a pendulum. It swings.
Right.
It'll swing
Right.
back.
But right now, it's solo.
So you've been playing music for a while now, but how did you get started?
Well, pretty much like most baby boomers, you grow up hearing some bebop, in the 50s, and some Glenn Miller with your parents, and just getting into all kinds of music. And then, of course, the Beatles. And then when you're learning how to play guitar, you want to emulate. Well, I ended up picking up the guitar around the Dylan phase. So I started studying the finger style, Bob Dylan, and thought, geez, this is hot. I was telling you just earlier that I'm riding in the car and I'm thinking, it's a great song, but the lyrics were great in the tune, but the finger style, and that was Bob Dylan playing that. He just thumped that boom chuck while he's playing this nice melody, and I thought, I got to learn how to do that instead of just strumming "Where Have All the Flowers Gone" type thing. So that's pretty much how I got into it.
Yeah. Did you just learn this stuff off of records?
Yeah, that's pretty much, we'd spin the records and be scratching them, so Tom wouldn't be able to get any of the good records we had, anybody who's learning, in the neighborhood.
Well, you just learned it with the scratches in there.
Well, yeah, we thought that was part of the song.
Exactly. So when did you start doing your own material?
Pretty much in the 80s, I just decided to write a folk song because I was working with the Golden Link people, going down there. And so I wrote a song called Aunt Mary's Birthday. And I won an award for it, the Stan Rogers songwriting contest. So I won the first award. And I thought, geez, I'll start writing some songs, But I did, and I wrote a few, but I'm very particular on what I write. And I'm not a great songwriter, so there's a lot of bones you've had to spit out. And now the album I have now, those are the good tunes.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the album as we come along here. But one of the things that we mentioned kind of both in our production meeting and a little bit before we got going is you're a bit of a historian when it comes to the finger-picking style, the folk and blues. And so kind of as you've been developing and as you've been working on your sound, what are some of the finger-picking styles that you've incorporated and you've sort of adapted into your own sound?
Yeah, well, in hearing Bob Dylan, you'd think, well, what kind of style is that? You hear other people playing music like that. And you hear Doc Watson playing that, and you realize that the more you study, that goes back to Merle, Travis. And then it even goes back earlier than him as far as finger style. Some banjo styles on the guitar, or, the guitar styles that some of the people play were pretty much like the banjo. So I thought I was interested in that too. That's how I got into open tuning. So, and then you discover different artists that you want to try and work on, scratching those records and just learn off the record. And sometimes tablature. I discovered, Stephen Grossman and, tablature music, how to, it's kind of like a map of what you're doing on guitar. You know, so it kind of, once you learn how to do that and hear on the record, you can kind of pick it up.
Did you ever take any formal lessons, or you just self-taught?
I didn't have time. Having 6 kids,
Yeah.
you know, and even now, we having 6 kids.
And how many grandchildren?
17.
Wow.
But there's only 6. There's only 16 here.
Right.
So, but that keeps us kind of busy. So, but I
Kinda.
being retired, I've actually been able to learn how to play guitar better,
Right.
you know, and learn, you know, different scales and things like that I never had time while I'm bringing up 6 kids and working night shift and things like that, you know.
It sounds like it's a really interesting. Well, I mean, all of the great blues artists, their music is authentic because it's very autobiographical. So for you,
Yeah.
writing your music, and one thing that's fun about the album is it has a nice mix of storytelling. It has some kind of fun, quirkier tunes in there. So for you, how do you kind of translate your life experience into your songwriting?
Well, that's a good question.
Thank you.
You know, because I mean, with some songs, I mean, like I say, there's a lot. I'm very particular what I want to release in terms of what you're writing, because it's a very personal thing what you're writing, but a lot of the songs are semi-autobiographical. But like my son getting married to this gal down in Tennessee, and some by working in the hospital, just seeing some stories, working in the health field, helped me learn, you know, things to put it in writing, kind of what I felt and what I saw, that type of thing.
You play with you kind of have like the 3 picks of like a banjo player. And so for you, going back and forth between an acoustic guitar and a resonator guitar, do you sort of change how you pick, or is it just a different color with the guitar?
I guess it depends on the song, because for some picking, it's just a thumb and 1 finger. The real purist will tell you that you're just not doing it right unless you just thumb and 1 finger. That would be Merle Travis and Reverend Gary Davis.
Yeah.
But most other folks, most humans are just doing what
Right.
they can. The first finger gets the string. So
That's a good life philosophy
Yeah.
right there.
right.
The one thing I think
Yes,
we're definitely picking up on is that you're a bit of a historian with all of these, all of the folk and the blues styles. And one thing you
Right.
did for Rochester for a long time is you hosted the Sun House Nights.
Right.
And and Sun House is a really important part of both kind of the national blues scene, and we have a really interesting ownership with Sun House. Can you talk about Sun House, what he did, and why he's important for blues?
Sure. For those who don't know, and you folks, most of you probably do know about these young white guys that pulled up to, you know, the street near Atkinson Street, or not near Atkinson. I'm trying to think what road that is in Cornhill neighborhood. But anyways, there's a lot of white guys that saw this guy playing music on the porch, and not just the Nick Lucas or Dick Waterman.
Dick Waterman, yes.
Even before he came and discovered and got Sun House on the road, there was a lot of guys in Rochester that got to know him. And they'd see this guy playing music. Some people would learn. John Mooney, you know, and of course Brian Williams and all these folks, those friends, you know, and Jerry Lawford, all these guys. I'm jealous that they got to meet the man. I was living in Syracuse at the time, you know. So anyways, Sun House was discovered back then, and when I was learning blues, you know, I was working. I thought, geez, let's learn some slide guitar, and that's where I got this little resonator. So I was learning how to play slide, and I got a job at Beale to play like an open mic, you know, on a Thursday night. And I said, well, rather than open mic, let's do a jam, a blues jam, because everybody's doing open mics, you know, and singing songs, the Beatles and stuff, of which I didn't know any of those songs. So anyways. I know I'll have to get to work on that too. But anyways, that's been one of my things. Just my limitations, I guess, is what you call my style. And I think with the blues, that was just something I wanted to learn how to play. I was a hack at it. Once I realized the other guys that came in, they were playing, I felt like a hack compared to, you know, you get Freddie Vine coming playing on his nice Piedmont blues, and Joe Beard would come down. And I jam with them, but they taught me to play better and what they're doing. And, you know, nice thing about blues, you can just, you know, practice and play it and enjoy it, you know. So rather than call it a jam session, I thought, gee, Sun House lived a mile away. Let's call it Sun House Blues Night and do a tribute to roots music. Because Sun House, to me, is not only a blues musician, but a folk musician. It's a connection where, you know, usually in Golden Link, I think I'm too bluesy for them. But in the blues circles, I think I'm too folky for the blues circle. So, but I think Sun House is a good example of the early just stripped down, playing it from the harp, you know, playing blues, kind of like a jazz musician in some ways. and yet it was folk music too,
Mm-hmm.
So coming from the east, going towards the Mississippi, that's kind of how I got there.
Yeah, it's we kind of had a really prominent Delta blues musician living in Rochester.
Right.
It's sort of funny how that shook out.
And the whole thing about Sunhouse, for those who don't know, too, is that he ended up being rediscovered and traveled to the Newport Folk Festival, and of course in Rochester, the House Guitars folks did a lot of things. I don't know if you ever met him at all, Tom, but there was just kind of one of those eras when there was so much other things going on in the late '60s, early '70s, with all the folk boom. But anyway, so he toured the world, but he had a pretty tough life with alcoholism and that type of thing. But what a spirit that he brought to the blues, and that's kind of the feel that anybody who's coming in down to the jam sessions, that's how it started anyways, is come down and just play what you can, and just enjoy yourself. And that was kind of the way it kind of used to go. And then you'd have kind of a special act maybe at the end of the night to kind of close it out, just kind of jam together, So I'm not sure exactly what they're doing in that prospect, but that's a good template, I think.
Yeah. To wrap this part of the interview up, we definitely want to talk about the new album, Rivers Rising.
Sure.
I've had a lot of fun listening to this, and we had a chance to talk about recording it and trying to both preserve, really working hard on it, but also talking about the authenticity for the sound. And so for you, what was it like picking the tunes for the album? You mentioned this is sort of like the cream of the crop of your tunes. And what was it like putting this together for you and seeing the response it's gotten?
Well, I guess a guy I was teaching guitar, he thought, I don't want to be playing guitar anymore. I want to do engineering. He wanted to get more into that end of it because he liked playing where he was at, and he was happy with that. But he wanted to experiment with analog recording, and as far as trying to get with a computer. And so his whole mission, he goes, "You'd be a good guy to play this stuff, so come on down." And so we just worked on a couple songs and just recorded, and then he just did the rest with. And he said, "Do whatever you want." And I was learning bluegrass at the time, trying to learn because I had retired, and I figured, just learn some bluegrass. And I know blues. I've been playing blues for years, and I've been playing folk music and writing songs. So I said, well, let's just do songs I wrote, just so if this is the last recording, that's for the grandkids.
Right.
So that, if nothing else, right? So anyway, it was just a lark to record. It was an honor to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
we've all really enjoyed it. You can check it out. We'll give you links for that. So give it up for Gordon. He got through most of the questions. We got a little bit more for him. Yeah. So this is we call it the lightning round. There are 3 questions, but feel free to take your time. These are sort of big picture things. If you could accomplish one thing in music and be happy, what would it be?
That's a good one. Probably to play as good as Doc Watson on guitar. That's my quest.
That's a good quest.
And I'm limited because some people can just pick it up and do it. With everything I do, it takes time. But that's okay. It's the journey is the destination.
There we go. What makes Rochester such a great place for original music to live, breathe, and happen?
I think because Rochester has so much diversity, it's anything goes as long as you really master whatever craft you're doing. I see people playing great things that I never play that I'm just glad they're doing it because they do it well. And that's kind of how the music scene in Rochester, as we discussed earlier too, is how diverse, and there's so much good music of different styles. And so the solo or the songwriter, you can fit in with that too.
Or the super group.
Or
Anyone
right.
in between.
Right, YMCA, you can play that if you want, if that's your thing,
Right.
and people are probably doing it right here in town and do it well.
Probably. We got one more for you. Do you have any advice for aspiring artists?
Practice.
That's a good one and not mentioned often enough. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Gordon Munding.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Dan Gross. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Rochester Indie Musician Spotlight. And one more time, Gordon Munding.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks. I appreciate it.
Met a gal at a cabaret. She said, pretty papa, are you going my way? I had to know what it was all about. You know, she took me home just to kick me out. She broke my nose and she split my chin. Said she didn't want me hanging around again. Chased me through the kitchen and into the hall, where she beat me with a chair till my head got sore. But that'll never happen no more. You know that that'll never happen no more. You know that'll never happen no more. Never happen no more. A nickel is a nickel, a dime is a dime. I got a house full of children, ain't none of them mine. But that'll never happen no more. You know that that'll never happen no more. Chicago for the winter and fall. I had to wear my overalls. I got broke. It was my fault. I was just used to eating pork chops or all kinds of salt. I met a girl. She had this big main coat, a Cadillac car, and a 50-foot boat. She pulled a gun. She took my dough, but I didn't holler and I didn't get sore. I said that that'll never happen no more. You know that that'll never happen no more. You know that that'll never happen no more. Never happen. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I once had a woman I could not trust, but you know that never happened. I went to a party last Saturday night. I got to drink and I was feeling alright. Lit up a reefer and drank some gin and sat back and waited for the fun to begin. A pretty little mama come up to me. She said, Big Daddy, let's... Well, I woke up next morning, my empty bed, pockets was empty, a pain in my head, but that'll never happen no more. That'll never happen no more. Well, that'll never happen no more. Better listen to what I said. I'm out on the wagon trying to save my soul. My good woman round the corner selling all her jelly roll. But that never happened no more. All right, I slid home on that one. You can always edit that one out. That'll go to a commercial on that little tune there. Yeah, we've just been listening. This next tune here, because of a cold night that we're doing this little thing. And I'm still coming off that nice little buzz with all the grandkids joining me last week at that little record CD thing we did. It was nice. But this is the weather-related tune. It's that Snow Fox thing going, you know. And I wrote this with my grandson when he was 4. We were looking out, it was a few years ago, we had those real rough winters before we had a couple mild ones. And at that time, you know, just watching him during the daytime, we'd tell stories. And one was about the snow fox out while the wind's blowing out in the back. We had all these woods. And, you know, I'd say, well, the snow fox comes out only at night, only when the moon is out. And you know what he looks like? And he goes, yeah, he's got red eyes. I said, have you seen him too? And so he went on, and his teeth are long. And I said, yeah, he's kind of scaring me, you know. And then he talked about the scribbly moans that this thing does. I thought, the scribbly moans? I got to write a song about this guy. winter night when the snow fox came in sight. 'Cause the moon hit the snow just enough to make it glow, just enough to make it glow just right. When the snow fox came one night, I was out in the dark. I thought I saw a spark. 'Twas the eyes in his head, and they were glowing red. They were glowing red out in that dark when the snow fox came one night. But snow fox, running through the trees. Sky is black, don't come back, I hope you don't see me. Well, he was not alone. The moon and scribbly moans through trees began to blow, swirling up the snow, swirling up the snow far from my home. When the snow fox came one night, and then I saw his teeth, long and sharp beneath. He was flying through the air, hunting down a hare, hunting down a rabbit like a thief. When the snow fox came one night, well, snow fox, running through the trees. Sky is black, don't come back, I hope you don't see me. He looked around where I was on the ground. He sniffed the icy night. I thought I'd die of fright. You know, I thought I'd die of fright or make a sound. When the snow fox came one night. But snow fox, running through the trees. Sky is black, don't come back, I'm glad you didn't see me. The old Lithuanian harmonica I have here. Thanks so much. Anyways, Teddy and his a couple of his cousins sang on the album, and they sound spooky when they're singing that chorus. What did I have? Oh yeah. I might as well sing a song about Mama, being our anniversary here. That 42 years, and you know, wedded bliss amongst other things, and that's just how it goes after 42 years and all them kids and stuff. But I feel really honored and blessed. Get this little squeak going here. The right horn section. I think I like that key better. But anyways, this is a tune that actually I recorded back in the 90s when I played in a band called Blue Delta, and we were playing acoustic tunes and a few of my originals in that. And a few big Bill Brunsey tunes and things like that. Mississippi John Hurt, what we were into back then, and still am kind of. I'm great at stealing templates of old blues and just trying to put my own stuff in, only because I can't remember the words anyways to half the songs. It's kind of an ADD thing. So this song is kind of like Keys to the Highway, many songs like that. And it's called My Down Home Woman. I got me a down-home woman, and she's the match for me. She's the cream in my coffee, the honey in my tea. You know we live out in the country, and when that cold wind blows, she's bound to keep that fire high burning, to warm my soul. Yeah, I got a down-home woman, rolls in my arms just right, and if I have my way, that's where she'll be tonight. Rolls in my arms just right, and if I have my way, that's where she'll be tonight. All right, that's one of Jane Francis there. It's a shiny new toy, you know. These go back to the 30s, but I'd have to sell one of my first, I'd have to sell the Firstborn in order to afford one of those. But this one sounds just the same. In fact, I've heard some that I like this one a whole lot better. Sometimes like wood, if it sounded like garbage, it still sounded like garbage. And so, but this old beat up guitar that I just played, I'm really loving getting used to it. This is a tune off the album I should do. It's called The Troubled Soul, and it's one of those songs that I wrote from observing some folks who had gotten themselves in some tough messes when I worked in the mental health field, and I thought sometimes just a decision or two to kind of bounce, and we all could be in deep doo-doo. So anyways, this is the... come back. This ain't some joke. I got a troubled soul. I got a troubled soul. I got a troubled soul, and I got no place to go. You know, she said she'd love me for all time. I up and left it all behind. I got a troubled soul. I got a troubled soul. I got a troubled soul, and I got no place to go. Her soul pumps out turpentine, and I got a troubled soul. I got a troubled soul. troubled soul and I got no place to go. Now she went out to buy some beer, never come back. She's made it clear I got a troubled soul. Lord have mercy. I got a troubled soul and I've got no place to go. That just straight up blues, you know. So, well, thanks so much. I'm glad you liked it. When he lost his love, and it was a real sad song, My Long Lost Love. She wanted money. She wanted stuff, was what that song was all about. So this tune is kind of written from kind of a call and answer, kind of a mountain type tune, you know. And Rocky Top is it used to be a big song about Rocky Top, and that's the big theme song for the folks down that way. Near Rocky Top, I met a girl in Tennessee. She's the apple of my eye. Her eyes are brown, she's good to me. I gave her my heart, somehow I know she'd walk with me through rain and snow. I took her home near that lake, Ontario, in the mountain near Rocky Top. I met a girl in Tennessee. She's the apple of my eye. Her eyes are brown, and she's good to me. She is mine, and now we live in Tennessee, rolling hills, green pines, and the mountain near Rocky Top. I met a girl in Tennessee. Near Rocky Top, I met a girl in Tennessee. I gave her my heart, somehow I know she'd walk with me through rain and snow. She's good to me, she's good to me, she's good to me. All right, a little Rocky Top. Thank you. do a little Sunhouse tune here that one of my favorites of his was the song The Pony Blues that he emulated from other blues guys he was playing with at the time. Skip James and but I just find it kind of a cool song for the time that these guys played it. Horses were more prevalent than they are now, and goes back to that time. You know, kind of hard to tell how far the song does go back, but his Pony Blues is kind of a metaphor getting his woman who got away on him. You know, so it's a. Traveling pony, she can't deny her name. Yeah, but the way she travels is a low-down, dirty shame. So I hopped the old midnight, rode him all night long. Yes, I jumped the old midnight, and I rode him all night long. Come, he couldn't do me no wrong. Yeah. Trot, lope, and pace. Yeah, the horse I ride again. Foxtrot, lope, and pace. Yeah, with a horse with them gates, bound to win most any race. Yeah, bring me my pony, saddle up my black mare. Bring me my pony, saddle up my black mare. Well, now get on up now, pony. Get on up and let us go. Gotta find that girl. Get on up now, pony. Get on up and let us go. Look, take a trip down to Mexico. Yeah, bring me my pony, saddle up my black mare. Yeah, bring me my pony, saddle up my black mare. You know I find my baby at the world somewhere. A little Sunhouse tune for you. I was hoping you'd like that. Thank you. We got time for a couple, or where would we be at here, folks? You good? All right. One, two. We'll do one here, one for the road. I'll do Rivers Rising off the album there. We'll do well, rivers rising all around my door, all around my door. And the river's rising all around this door, and the river's rising all around your door. It's just time we move along. Well, take my hand for the higher ground, for the higher ground. Take my hand, honey, baby, for the higher ground. Yeah, take my hand, honey, baby, for the higher ground. And it's just time we move along, 'cause the river's rising all around my door, all around this door. The river's rising all around my door, and the river's rising all around your door. It's just time we move along. You know I love you, baby, till the end of time, till the end of time. Gonna love you, honey, baby, till the end of time. Gonna love you, honey, baby, till the end of time. It's just time we move along, 'cause the river is rising all around this door, all around my door. And the river's rising all around your door, and the river's rising all around your door. It's just time, it's just time now. It's just time that we move along. And it's almost time we move along here. Thanks so much, folks. I'm gonna do an instrumental for you, one for the road here. As we had mentioned, I didn't do an instrumental yet. Well, let's get one. And this is a good public domain tune, so. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, folks. Thanks for coming down. You know, I met a gal at a cabaret. She said, "Pretty Papa, are you going my way?" I had to know what it was all about. You know, she took me home just to kick me out. She broke my nose and she split my chin.